Tennessee baseball goes up to Kentucky this weekend, loses the first two. They come back on Sunday, get one in the series to keep them getting swept. But now, um, it's going to be a tough road ahead for them. There's still work to do for this team, I think, to secure a spot in the regionals. I don't think it's a given yet, but take care of business in your last two weekends, and you got to take care of business midweek as well. This is Frank, House of Orange TV. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. What I would probably term as a pretty rough weekend for this team. It was a Kentucky team that had been swept by South Carolina, and then they come out this weekend. As a team had not hit, 13 home runs coming in. Just this, I'll get into it more in a minute, all the stats on that here as well. But, to me, the saving thing of the weekend was Landon Mack, the way he pitched. He might have saved Tennessee's regional hopes yesterday. Maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic on that. Excellent outing from him. He got moved back to Sunday. He responded. He got the job done yesterday. Rough weekend for Coons, rough weekend for Blanco here as well. Both those guys have been really solid up to this point. Give or take a game here or there, but they switched up the rotation this weekend. I don't know. There's a part of me wonders, man, if you don't just kind of leave it as it is. But, I kind of get why they made the switch. Mack had a couple rough outings in a row, but he responded on it. He responded like I would expect him to respond as well. So, I'm curious to see, do they stick with the same rotation this weekend or go with it? I'll be honest, the part of me, as well as Saturdays had been going, not that I don't think Coons is a Friday night starter. You guys know what I think about him. I obviously think he is. But Saturdays has been just rolling right now. And my first instinct was kind of just to flip-flop Blanco and Mack, see how it goes on that one. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. Kentucky was hitting the ball both days. Friday, they hit it all weekend. They hit the crap out of Tennessee's pitching this weekend. But there was some bright spots with it. Mack was one of them. The bullpen was pretty rough all weekend. Arvidsson come in and nailed it down yesterday and won it. Thank goodness for Levi Clark's 3-run shot in the ninth, or Tennessee's getting walked off yesterday and getting swept. So there were some big hits on it. The hits weren't there the first 2 days, and we've seen that with this team. They're so Jekyll and Hyde on offense. Just when you think they've turned the corner, all of a sudden they're back in a funk again. And this was against the Kentucky pitching staff coming in that I really didn't see this coming. I don't think a lot of people did on it. But Kentucky's two starters on Friday and Saturday shut Tennessee down. Tennessee starters just, again, not their better weekend, obviously. But that's SEC baseball. We've seen it over the years. When Tennessee goes up to Kentucky for baseball, even the championship year, even the 2022 team, if I'm not mistaken, the 2022 team went up there. Maybe that was their only series loss, or that was their first series loss of the year. So it's a tough place to go play, especially for Tennessee. And, where do they go from here? Let's kind of hit the weekend on it a little bit. I want to hit series stats here. Let me pull that up here and share it with you guys, and we kind of go through it here as well. Here we go. Series stats on it. Look to offense first. Levi Clark, big weekend for him. 5 out of 9, 2 home runs, big day yesterday for him. Tennessee needs that. They need that out of him big time. He had a walk. He was hit by a pitch once. Garrett Wright was solid. 333. Henry Ford, solid. 333 on the weekend. Reese Chapman, 300. He had a big day yesterday. Had some big hits. Blaine Brown, 250 on the weekend. 3 out of 12. Did have a home run on Saturday that gave him a little bit of life, and then things went south to Mary Grinlinger, Manny Marin, Blake Grimmer all had pretty tough weekends. Stone Lawless, 1 out of 5 on the weekend. Jay Abernathy, I've been an advocate for him to get in the lineup, but you get your chance. You can't go and go 0 for 5. He got on base one time with a hit by pitch on the weekend. So, again, not a banner weekend. 247 average for the weekend for this team. Not going to get the job done. 13 runs or 13 RBIs in 3 games. You look at Kentucky. Let's see. They don't have Kentucky's stats on it. I'd like to see theirs as well. Here's what we know. I mean, Tennessee gave up. Like I said, I think Kentucky hit like 13 home runs in SEC play. They hit freaking 8 this weekend. I don't know, what the deal was on that, but it's just you look at Mack again, big effort for him. Now, I'll give Coons didn't have his best. He still got through 6 innings. Kentucky hit him this weekend, but he got through 6 innings. He gave them a chance to rest the bullpen, and let's face it, Tennessee needed every single one of those guys yesterday to eke out that win on it. So even when Coons doesn't have his best stuff like this weekend, still got through 6 innings on that. He still grinded through on that. Hats off to him for helping save the bullpen to at least get a win on that. Blanco's been solid this year, let's face it, but, not his better weekend. He gave up 6 runs as well. And you look at appearances. Nick Abraham threw an inning on Friday. Brandon Arvidsson come in, nailed it down yesterday with 2/3 of an inning. Again, they needed him because Cameron Appenzeller come in, got lit up again. Ethan Bioto, he was earlier, Bo Rudy. Bo Rudy got out of a big situation in the 7th. He got hit pretty hard after that. Bioto had come in at one point. I'm trying to think which game was that. It was on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because once Blanco was pulled, they brought Braden Krenzel in. A hit by pitch, a walk as well in succession, and they pulled him out of the game. Bioto did get out of the jam, but then 3 hits, 4 runs on it. Will Haas came in. Brady Frederick come in, no innings, gave up a hit on this. I was looking back over his stats, and I think I don't know, man. I think I expected more out of him coming in. I kind of wondered how he'd translate to SEC play, and it's not been really well, but they're still going to go to him. Maybe he can get things going at some point. Same thing with Krenzel, but, man, Krenzel, they gave him some opportunities, just not – that Georgia game ruined him. It ruined his confidence for the season. I have no doubt about that. He got left in too long, and he has not been the same ever since on this. We've seen other guys get moved in spots. We saw Coons. He was put in the bullpen. He responded in big-time fashion. He'd been awesome up till Friday on it. It's going to happen in SEC play. It's rarely does a guy get through that some team doesn't have a night against him. Blanco been pretty solid. Mack, again, responded with getting moved to Sunday on it. But let's face it, the bullpen, it is a concern on it. These starters have to get 6 or more innings of solid ball to give this team a chance. And especially, you never know with this offense. You never know when it's going to show up. Seems like Sundays they're showing up pretty often. Of course, you're going against the teams, at best on that day, their 3rd starter, if not someone else. They're capitalizing on that for the most part. But Fridays and Saturdays have at times been a grind on it. The doubleheader last week against Alabama, they were on it on Saturday. They need some dudes in the bullpen to step up and be consistent. Cameron Appenzeller, let's face it, as good as he was, you go back to that LSU game, he was lights out coming in after Tegan Coons. They were able to get that win out of it. Switched it up, brought him in Friday the next week, and he did a pretty good job against Mississippi State to close that one out. Did give up a couple runs then. But Ole Miss touched him up, Alabama touched him up, and Kentucky lit him up too. The scouting reports out on him. Let's face it, when you're throwing, high 80s, low 90s like that, SEC teams are going to get the scouting report at some point. He's still going to be a big part of this team. They need him going forward. They need him to figure it out. I feel like Arvidsson's been a little inconsistent. Good to see him close it out yesterday. Rudy's been pretty solid. But he this weekend had a tough weekend, and but he did get some big outs there as well. What's Tennessee going to do? I think they're pretty set on their lineup right now as far as you're going to see 10 guys. It's going to be a combination of either Stone Loss or Jay Abernathy in that ninth spot, depending on the night. But I don't know what you do rotate. Part of me would say stick with it, what you just went with. So I don't know. You've already switched it up. Could you go back to it? I mean, you could put, if any of these guys are on, you could put any of them on Friday night on it. To me, I think Coons is your best pitcher. I've said that from the get-go. I still think he is on that. But, you look at what he did on Saturdays. There's a part of me says, and you think back 2022, 2023, Chase, especially 22, Chase Dolander in that spot, Drew Beam, 24 in that second game spot. Pretty solid to beat. And, sometimes you get those advantages with it. You stick with this rotation. There's no doubt. That's your best three starters. There's no doubt about that. We've got to have better out of the bullpen. I would say your positives on it was looking at, as far as pitching, Mark Hindy, what did he got? Well, he was a third on it. Abraham's giving you some pretty solid work. Arvidsson locking it down yesterday was good. Other than that, as far as bullpen-wise goes, pretty rough weekend there as well. And the bottom line is you need Cameron Appenzeller to get back in a groove. It would be phenomenal to get Braden Krenzel in a groove, because when he's on, my goodness, man, the guy's almost unhittable when he's on. But it's totally, to me, confidence with him right now. He's definitely got the yips right now. I think your starters will be fine, but what's moving forward? You cannot afford. Tennessee has normally dropped a midweek game. Tennessee, I don't think at this point you can afford it. A lot of times you can get away with it, depending on how you do the rest of the schedule. This year, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing where they can get away with it. You're sitting right now 31-17, 11-13 in conference. So they're not in a bad spot on this, but there's work left to do. I don't think you could withstand to get swept, and I don't think they will. I don't think they could withstand to get swept the next 2 weekends, because at that point you're probably having to go and win the SEC tournament to assure yourself of getting in. Normally that comfort zone in SEC play, especially with RPI and all, is to get to 13 wins. If they could take 2 out of 3 or even sweep Texas this weekend, I would really think that solidifies them. But then I don't think you could go to Oklahoma and get swept either. I've seen it, VolQuest breaking it down some today. They think 2 wins will get them in based on getting to 13. So, you've got to at least take 1 out of 3 the next 2 weekends. It would be big if you could at least split the next 2 weekends. Anything more than that, I think, is just icing on the cake. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. Put them in as a 4 seed. I don't care. I don't care if they're a 2, a 3, or a 4 in it, because whoever faces them is not going to want to face them in their regional. Tennessee's had pretty good luck outside of SEC play in the regionals, in the super regionals, ever since Tony Vitello was there, and now obviously Josh Elander. But, the odds are they're not going to get sent to an SEC school in the regionals. You might match up one of the super regionals. That's a different story. But I've seen them matched up, some of the predictions. One had them with Coastal Carolina. I would like that. I'm thinking one of them was North Carolina, which would be tough. It'd definitely be on the road. But again, it was the same thing 2023. This team had ups and downs, kind of got things going at the end. Maybe they can finish strong these next 2 weeks. So the season's definitely not over by any means. Just get in. Just get in. They'll be fine. They'll at least have a really good chance to get to super regionals. And depending on the matchup, Omaha's still not out of the realm of possibility if you can make the tournament. here. But I expected they could go up and win the series this weekend, and hats off that they got Sunday. It was definitely a tough one, but they were able to eke it out. Now, I mean, you got two tough ones coming up with Texas and Oklahoma, especially Oklahoma on the road. But again, I think 2-4, based on what I'm reading, should get them in. Anything more than that, you're probably looking pretty good at being in with it as well. But we'll see where it goes. Presbyterian tomorrow night, Texas this weekend. Let's see, who is it? Belmont will be the final regular season home game next Tuesday, and then they finish at Oklahoma Thursday through Saturday. This weekend's is Friday through Sunday, 6:30, 6, and noon. It's showing this weekend. I'll wrap up on that one. This is Frank, House of Orange, and I'll see you when I see you.